Hey everyone. So if you know my channel, I usually post stuff about my dog, me and my dog. I'll post some stuff about air rifles and stuff like that. Occasionally an RC car. But today I want to tell you a story about when I used to work for a company doing loss prevention. This was back in about 1997. Okay, so at that time, I was working out of Bridgeport, Connecticut. Now, if you know Bridgeport, Connecticut, it's bad. You know, there's a lot of crime there. It's not. There's other parts that are nice, but for the most part, there's a lot of crime there. So I was working at a grocery store, and this is when like OxyContin was big. You know, it was coming out, and people were stealing anything they could for it. So the main thing was baby formula. People would come in, they'd get a carriage or a hand basket, and they would just walk out the door. So one day I was working, you know, and this guy comes in. He looked just like Michael Jordan, but tinier and smaller. He picks up 16 cans of formula, and he just walks out the door. So I go to stop him, and he shoves a 380 in my face. So I let him go, and that was the first time someone pulled a gun on me. So I called my boss up in Massachusetts. This guy, his name was David. He was a complete asshole. First thing he says was, "Did you get the stuff back?" You know, and I was like, "No, I didn't get the stuff back, you idiot!" Like, he put a gun in my face, and you know, I called 911, and it took them a half hour to respond. So it kind of tells you what we used to deal with. But the reason why I stopped it was because, you know, out of the hundreds of shoplifters I used to stop there, you know, a year, one guy, you know, if you stop someone, usually they ran. I mean, I'd get into fights with heroin addicts in the intersection at the front of the store. And we had a cop working overtime there. I remember one time the cop pulled his handcuffs out, and he didn't use them in so long they were rusted shut. He was banging them on the ground trying to get them open. I mean, it was fucking ridiculous. But the one time the guy who I stopped, he didn't want to run. He wanted to fight, and he just happened to be. He was built like a tank, you know. We were fighting, and if you ever seen a supermarket floor, you step, they're hard as a rock. This guy slammed my head on the floor. He kicked me in the face with work boots on. He broke my ribs. He kicked me in the ribs, and you know, after that, like I could barely work, you know, and I was anxious about working because of that trauma. So they sent me to like a psychologist for treatment through the employee assistant program. So I go to the psychologist's office, and his fucking office is on fire. So I'm like, well, you know, oh well, so much for that. But if you do loss prevention today, like I give you credit, because I would never ever do that job again. For what they pay and what they expect from you, no fucking way. I'm sorry. There's too many crazy people out there carrying fucking guns and shit. It wouldn't happen. I mean, I did it for 16 years. I worked at all the major retailers, you know, like Filene's, Macy's, I mean, JCPenney, you name it. I mean, we used to fight all the time. But it was mostly trying to get them back in the office, you know. And we had a guy one time. We had a holding cell. He went up in the drop ceiling, climbed across into the China department, and fell through the ceiling. I mean, it was nuts, you know. But you couldn't catch me. You wouldn't catch me doing that job for all the money in the world. It is the absolute most stressful job. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you all have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. All right, bye.